Y'all ready?
We're on.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, August 14th. We're running a little behind, but we're about to kick off our budget workshop. Topic for this meeting may include, but are not limited to, discussions on the following proposed 2024 budget. All right, Jackie, please.
Okay, the first thing I wanted to point out is if you look, it's good because I'm gonna be able to lower a figure, so that's always good. If you look at the bottom where it starts with Commissioner's Court on the first page, after I was reviewing it and it shows $117,011 in retirement on that one line, I was thinking, why in the world would I have that figure in there? And then it dawned on me, when I start to prepare a new budget, I always copy the current one and put it in the new file. That particular amount right there was when we gave the retirees a cost of living increase, and that was the one-time payment that we had to make. So I took that off, and I wasn't gonna kill some more trees just to tell you all that. And so that lowers the top figure of beginning balance or fund balance to 203,704.56 instead of the 320,715.56.
This beginning balance right here? Okay, it's what,
203,704.56. So that's good.
All right.
So, and also Jackie, right here on ad valorem, the 5.619.
That's the current rate
Yeah,
that we have now, but that, the figure is the,
5807.
in this system, I can't change if I change the description before I run again, I gotta change it back to what it really is. There's not a place in the new budget that's separate from that because they're all tied together. So yes, you are correct. That 5619 is our current rate, not the no new budget. And so after our last budget workshop, because Mike, I think you had to leave. So the local historical society had asked for an increase in their budget, and that was up to 4,500. So that was put in there. Brian said they were doing well with the housing of the inmates and stuff, so the 350,000 for housing of inmates, he told me to take 50,000 off. That he thought he would be good. The Allen Shivers Library, they had requested an increase to 137,916. And last week, I think they agreed to not do the whole request they asked for and just put it down to 130. And then on Justice of the Peace, number 1, she asked for, because the jury fee is going up, asked for an extra 1,000 in her pettit jurors. And then if we go to page 5, the county treasurer, I put the 4,000 back for her part-time. And I think we have it, okay, we go to page, the nutrition center where I had on the original proposed 66,933, we had to increase it to 81,493 because what they were not, what was the reason that we did that?
Well, I know that,
We're adding an employee, correct?
Well, yeah, we have two
Yeah.
full-time employees added.
And I will, I met with them the other day about that worksheet for the figure, and that employee, we will get paid back for that person as long as we use them for the exercise program. So we actually, my understanding is we'll get like a 11, our new rate is gonna go up this year, so we'll actually be getting more money back. But after this year, this year has COVID money tied to it, so we'll go back to what a normal year would. So we'll have to watch that whenever we go, but we can still make, if we can build up that exercise program, I think it's 11 something per person whenever you go get them, to do the exercise also. So it's a reimbursable thing as well for that position, so.
And we added 14,560 for vacation relief and sick leave. If one of them was out sick or whatever.
Yeah, that would be that part-time.
Right.
position, so.
So that's one reason why we had to go up on it. And the good thing is the Temple Foundation, if the Temple
Yeah.
Foundation is willing to help us offset some of the overhead.
Yeah, I met with them, what was it, Thursday?
Mhm.
Thursday, and she's gonna show me how to write the grant and everything. And she said they fund that all the time, so it's gonna be a real boost to this. And it's important to our seniors. They, go down there any day of the week, and, you know, you see what an impact it had on them.
Oh, yeah. Without
Um,
60-something people on Fridays, pretty big.
Yeah. And it's just gonna grow, and one day we're gonna have to decide where, you know, where we have to call it.
And I was able to lower after the appraisal district meeting, it was down to like, the increase wasn't the original one with their budget. He lowered his budget, so we only ended up having to come up with 26,000 and something extra above what we already budgeted. It wasn't, I want to say it was like 80 something thousand, the original one, but I think more than one of our entities on the appraisal district mixed their
Raise.
request, yeah.
Because I think they decided not to do it because we're not giving our employees a raise. So I wasn't gonna vote for it, for sure.
And then the other things are what we already had in the proposed, and I wanted to bring out like the full-time from office, the full-time for, Melissa. We're giving up our part-time money, so it's not costing the full amount of that person because we already had part of it in the budget to cover it for her and for me. And then the one for Leanne, is being covered by the grant, but then we had talked about Donice needing that, so we're gonna swap budget money, but the money for her is already in Donice's budget now, so it doesn't have to wait until January 1, and then the grant money will go to Donice's budget. So hers will be just a little bit of difference that everything we were gonna do, it's just basically they swapped. The grant's gonna pay for one of Donice's, and then Donice gave one of her positions to her, so it wouldn't have to wait until January.
Thank y'all for that.
Yeah,
That's the package.
Thank y'all.
And I think that's better, really, because it'll benefit Donice's office to have the 911.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Leanne's person can just do all day Leanne.
And then the only one that we're having, and we're not having to fund the judges full-time all the way either, because when he looked at his emergency management budget, he moved the part-time out of there, so his is not costing the full amount either. There's money, we're just shifting money around is what it amounts to. There is gonna have to be some extra money come up with, but not for each full position. And I was trying to think, was there anything else that we talked about last week that Mike wasn't here? Let me see, the judge wanted me to call, let me see anything else.
Donald.
That's it.
There's a lady out there that looked confused. Not Sharon, there was another lady.
So has it started? Commissioner started? Budget workshop.
Budget workshop.
Okay. Where's my commission?
I'm fixing to,
He's in the
jury,
jury, so.
put you on,
Hey, y'all bring this
I'll
up.
tell them all the increases and have a full-time employee and
How's your office?
a full.
Nobody ever retired.
And so anyway, I was just gonna put you on speaker.
Oh, you know what that is? Your daddy, when you said, will y'all consider that?
Okay, Milton, I got you on speaker.
Morning.
So I went over everything with them. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
I didn't bring it up.
I don't have anything at this time. I think everything was pretty much given. We just had a few little changes there, and that's all we had.
So y'all have any questions for him? Everybody's good?
No, I think.
I think we've, like I said, I told you this morning that I was able to lower the general fund $117,011. And I think we just had somebody come in and request a COLA, because I just saw your note. But we did the COLA last year,
Yeah.
and so we took that out, and because I don't know what it would be, I mean, I can get a number if anybody's interested, but I think since we're not
Giving our.
giving our employees a raise,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
did give
it's the
them.
same.
And this budget, the increases that were asked for, everybody pretty much, if they didn't get exactly everything they wanted, they got most of it. And I think, well, what I wanted to say is this budget takes into consideration the increase on all the expenses. Because you can keep the same budget, you can adopt and keep the same budget, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get to live within that budget, because the county has to pay the bills. And I think with this budget, we'll be fine with how it is, and with staying with the no new revenue rate, we'll be fine, I think.
And also Milton, I told them that I met last week with Holly at DECOG, and we reworked that worksheet, and the part-time employee that I requested, we should be able to get reimbursed for that. When we hire somebody, it'll be somebody that can do the exercise program, so it should be a reimbursable position, so. And also, our rate was like at 10, I want to say 10.16 per plate, is that sound right? 10.17? And we'll be getting this year, and no numbers are for sure right now, but we should be getting close to 11.17 this year on reimbursement per meal, so that's gonna help us also. But this will be the last year that the COVID money is tied into those aging services meals, so the following year will be actually what the true number is. She didn't seem to be too worried about it.
And the only thing that I wanted to add, Milton, that I didn't talk to you about, this Senate Bill 22 money for the sheriff's department, Brian had reworked, and we agreed that it would be a stipend. So in the event that the money isn't there, that the state doesn't allot for it, then they go back to the original base salary.
Yes, ma'am.
From a bookkeeping end of it, and to help know at all times what the base salary was without having to go back and figure, okay, how much was the base and how much is the Senate bill if something should take place where they don't fund it. I would like to put it in, it can still be within the sheriff's department's budget, but do another salary line item within that budget strictly for Senate Bill 22 monies. So it's always separated and nobody ever thinks it's all county paid.
That's a wonderful idea. I truly believe that way it keeps everybody in shape there, so.
Because that's, you know, the one thing we ran into, me and Michael remember, these two, I don't know here, when the current salary, you know, when we were paying longevity every pay period, and then, you know, Doc had suggested that because the people that had been here 20 years, the people that were being here 2 years were getting paid the same thing, that's what started the longevity. But when we started paying it one time a year, everybody that was already getting longevity, they rolled it into their salary. Well, that sounded like a wonderful idea, but it's really been nothing but a nightmare. When you have to figure those that we labeled it position longevity because you still have a base rate. And so that's why I don't want to have to, okay, well, this person got this because they were here longer. It'll be cleaner and easier to understand, so that way also the public knows that it's not the county funding that extra salary, it's the grant, the Senate Bill 22.
Yes.
You know, everything sounds like a wonderful idea sometimes till you have to implement it, and then it's a nightmare, and that turned into be a nightmare because we had to go back to keep what the base salary was, so you weren't having a person hire on making the same thing as somebody that had their longevity rolled into their salary before we started paying it one time a year. Or that's when we rolled it in, and it became confusing. It was the same way with the commissioners. You know, those that have been here, it looked like they got a significant raise when it really wasn't. It was just moved into another line item, and that was something that the court had voted on. So this will keep it completely separate, so there won't be any question as to how much they're getting from that Senate Bill 22 money.
While you're talking about that, Jackie, did we take care of the DA's position that he wanted?
He sent me a revised list, and it's the same, wanting he's got an assistant DA, well, two assistants. I have it over in the office, he had emailed it to me. And instead of one position, one investigator at 90 to 100,000, he lowered it to two investigators at 60,000 each. And we broke out what's county paid and what's his apportionment money paid and what's gonna be his Senate Bill 22 money as well.
And also about the vehicle, or did we decide on that? 'Cause I just
I
started
think, Milton,
remembering
when you were
we started
talking about a vehicle, didn't you come up with something for the investigator?
I did come up with something. I actually spoke to the sheriff, and we've got some different things that with some vehicles that are coming available, and we can use it possibly until we can get something else for them. But that's a possibility. We didn't set that in stone, so because that's going to be we got until January to do that. So, but I figured that that's something that we could definitely pull out of our capital funds, correct?
Yes,
Jack? If we
Yes.
needed to?
yes.
Okay. But that's, me and the sheriff had talked, and I'd asked him a few things, and he was willing to try to help as much as he could to be able to try to get a vehicle for them to have an investigative vehicle. So, we're gonna work on those funds, and we're gonna get those things going. That way the county's not out any money like that. We can actually use grant money that stipend grant money there to be able to move it forward in both ways. So I think it's going to be a good thing either I don't think it's something that we have to budget at this time.
Judge, what about fuel and, maintenance?
Now, fuel, that may be a different thing, that's definitely gonna be a different thing. So that may be something I did not even, to be real honest with you, I did not even, set that aside with the fuel, so that may be something
That's
that
something we need to
you need
change.
to get with him on, and that way we can lay that down as a final thing. But the vehicle itself, we shouldn't have any problems, just maybe maintenance and fuel.
Jackie, you think we ought to put something in there in anticipation?
For maintenance and fuel, or is there a fund that we could do that out of?
Let me look.
Because
Just for emergency.
it is.
No, it's for, the investigator for the
Oh, the
VA. Yeah. I remember he mentioned a vehicle, and I just didn't know if we, ever figured out what we were gonna do on that.
I don't know how much, what figure of money to budget.
Yeah.
What my suggestion would be, until we get a vehicle and it starts rolling and we see what it is, to pay for it out of contingency, and then see what 1 month is, and then we can amend the budget, and create that line item for him,
Yes.
just because we don't know when he'll get somebody
Well,
either.
it's kinda like the senior center, we didn't tear it.
Yeah, just kind of see what the actual cost is, so we can budget better.
Joe, did you get a chance to tell the other commissioners about the conversation that we had from the Temple Foundation?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure that way we know with that. And also, Jesse, you did tell them about the difference when we moved my money around from EOC into that. So
Yes,
I'm only really paying $13,600, plus benefits for the mission.
yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I told them none of the full-time people are actually costing the county the full salary with benefits. We're shifting money around to cover it, and then only having to come up with the difference.
Yes. All right, well, I don't really have anything else. Does anyone got any questions? for me?
Is it cool up there?
Yeah.
How's the weather?
Well, I did want to do it, but y'all are gonna force me to do it. It's 55 degrees.
Oh, man.
No.
Because I am headed on a fly fishing trip. As soon as Commissioner's Court is over today, I'll be headed on a fly fishing trip. So, I'm not jealous or anything.
Now we're all mad at you. You rubbed our face in it.
Oh, goodness. But I don't have any other questions. Do y'all have anything?
I think we're good, Bill.
That's all I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're all good.
Everything good? I appreciate it, and I'm just gonna call in on a conference call. Donald's got a conference thing that's gonna set up, and I'm gonna call in on that. And, I guess in about 30 minutes,
Yeah,
about 30 minutes there, I'll call in, or about 25 minutes. It's 9:36 there, it's 8:36 here, so. But,
oh, I hate that for you.
Mountain time.
I've been up since 5:45 this morning, love
It's
it.
an hour difference, it's mountain time.
Yeah, well, we're still enduring the excessive heat warnings.
Well, I'm gonna bring some of this back with me, hopefully. It's gonna draw back with me.
No end in sight.
I hope
We just
so.
need the rain.
All right, well, we'll talk to you again in a little bit.
Have
All
fun.
right, thank y'all.
All right, bye. Anyway, that's all I had. I mean, I think everything's, The only thing I do know that I need to go in then and add the extra line item for the Senate bill for the sheriff and the DA for it to be separated, so there's no question. I just wanted it to be clean. And I think we're good.
So do we, have anything else for our workshop? Not, we get a motion.
Motion to adjourn budget workshop.
Second.
Got a motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, we adjourn the workshop. We'll start back at 10 o'clock for our